So last week, I kind of made some hints that I wanted to talk about the beast of the earth. So this is gonna be good for some people, and for others, you probably are gonna absolutely blow your mind um, at what I'm going to show you. But when I read a certain part of Revelation, and many of you probably heard about the beast and the beast from the earth, the big deceiver, the big deceiver. Many of you have just heard that. It's kind of talked about and things. So it's not like you got to be hugely biblical or Christian or anything like that to kind of hear. I've ever heard of the beast and the beast of the earth and the great deceiver and stuff like that. So, but when I read this the first time, there's a few things that stick out, and I'm gonna kind of talk through that real quick, and I'm gonna show you the beast of the earth. I'm gonna show you the beast of the earth. Yes, I'm gonna show you. So, all right. So I went ahead and searched for beast of the earth, and there's a lot of references, many references of beast of the earth in Old Testament. Now, what's interesting about beast, you could also just say animal. So there's some, even some, in the Greek, it kind of references even wild animal kind of thing, and I'm not going to go too deep into beast. That's kind of not going to be the whole point of this, but there is another beast of the earth where it actually, I believe it's in like Exodus, maybe in Exodus, maybe it's Deuteronomy, maybe it's this one, where it kind of talks about, it's one of them, but it has a context of beast of the earth. But after the word beast in Greek, it actually has the word wild. And so, is that wild beast or wild animal? Because that word in Greek, the beast word in Greek actually means wild animal. Or that's what some translations would have it. So, it's very interesting. But the other thing about beast of the earth, so I'm not going to dwell a whole lot on beast of the earth, or the beast part. But beast of the earth, what is very significant about this phrasing is that these are physical concepts that we can see. These are not just spiritual or philosophical, metaphorical, those kinds of things. So it's like it's alluding to a thing, but in some kind of weird context. This is a physical thing. That's why in this context, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth, or you can say animals of the earth. Same thing here. God made beasts of the earth, animals of the earth, according to its kind. Cattle, according to its kind. Everything that creeps on the earth, according to its kind. So there's a lot of those kind of concepts of beasts of the earth. Here's birds as well, creeping things, all that kind of stuff. So that's mostly what beast of the earth kind of alludes to, especially in the Old Testament. So there's another one, beast of the earth. So that's most of beast of the earth, birds, heaven, and for the beast of the earth, talking about their corpses and stuff like that will be feed for the birds and the beasts. So there's a lot of those kinds of things in the Old Testament. Now, when we get to here's one in Acts, which is weird, which is animals and of the beast. Like I said, I haven't gone too deep into beast and animal as far as like looking at the Greek, and I do like enjoy kind of like going back and looking at the Greek because that's the real Bible, not our English translations. But we get to Revelation, And there seems to be a change here in beasts of the earth. So, and I'm going to read this Revelation 6:8. Okay. So I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. And power was given to them over a fourth of the earth to kill with the sword, with hunger and death, and by beasts of the earth. So that's interesting. Beasts of the earth. So in that context, I wouldn't take that as wild animal or that kind of thing. So I mean, that's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. I have other thoughts, but I'm not going to go down that. And then you get to Revelation 13. Now, this is the whole beast of the earth thing, okay? And I got it right here. This is the whole beast of the earth. What's very important, like I kind of said earlier about beast of the earth, is these are physical things. Like, we can see them. They are here on the earth. There's obviously a lot of alluding to animals and stuff like that. But what is really important here is, when I got to this one, when I was reading through the Bible, is beast of the earth. I'm like, oh, we're kind of like talking about something, we're like describing something. So I read through that the first time, and that was kind of like my takeaway, but I didn't spend a long time trying to figure this out. And just a sec. When I read through that, it wasn't like the biggest deal, but I was like, I was going to come back to this because there was something there that it's like, whoa, beast from, obviously the section here in the New King James Version is titled Beast from the Earth, which is different. Beast from the Earth, okay? But I'm going to read this whole passage, and we're going to kind of break this down, and then I'm going to kind of do it maybe a little bit slow, maybe you can figure it out. But this is describing something, okay? And this is a little bit after talking about, one beast that's already a beast from the sea. And once you kind of understand this one, then you can kind of understand the other stuff that is around this contextual verse, these verses right here, this area. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon, and he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Okay, so that was the first beast, was before this. He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now this is Revelations 13, if I didn't clarify that. This is Revelations 13. This is roughly verses 11 through really about through 14. So it'd be like really this section that I'm really going to focus on here. So what is absolutely fantastic is we have a few descriptive points here. And as you can see, I've already kind of highlighted them. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, spoke like a dragon, or 3 descriptive things if I said 2, and performs great signs. So I'm going to bring up the old sweet and awesome PowerPoint. So breaking down this kind of section here. Okay, so we have a few descriptive features that we're going to see if we can just kind of pull in some imagery. So 2 horns like a lamb. Okay. We got 2 horns like a lamb. Got it. It speaks like a dragon. Now, what you need to understand about speaks like a dragon, back when that is written, dragon is interpreted as kind of like the devil. And so when it says spoke like a dragon, it's kind of saying it speaks like the devil, like Satan. So basically you can think of it as a lot of blasphemy talk. Okay? A lot of things that very much contradict the Lord, the Father. That's what is being said there. Spoke like a dragon. So basically the mouth of the devil. Okay? And then the third one, performs great signs. Now, when I first kind of thought about that, I was like, well, maybe like a magician, right? A magician that would work pretty good. So that's kind of the way I took it. As a magician, does a lot of great magic, but it's all deception, right? If you know anything about magic they perform great signs, but it's all deceptive. It's all deceptive. So those are really the 3 main takeaways of what kind of descriptive things. And once you kind of see what the object or the thing or the person I'm going to allude to here, then everything else around this becomes so much clearer. And if you want to see the beast from the earth, it is the TV. Horns, speaks the blasphemy, and has performed great signs. That is it. So once you understand that, then you can start to fill in so many other things that are around that verse in 13, even in Revelations 13, but also in Revelations 12 and 14. So you can start to understand things that are going on around that verse. And think about this. I mean, for 4 or 5 decades, this is what TVs look like. I mean, they had the antenna that looked like goat horns. They were very deceptive. People worship this. If you've ever talked to somebody that grew up in that era, that grew up with the TV, you will know that they worship that thing. That is their truth. And that is the Great Deceiver. That is why the younger generation can't stand the older generation, the boomers, right? We're mostly talking about boomers. That generation they're just idiots. They have massive lacking of morals and values. They don't care about their people at all. That is clear. And, people are worship that thing more than anything else. I canceled I think it was YouTube TV, and trust me, I heard about it. They got their own subscription, but I canceled because I don't watch TV anymore. I haven't watched TV in basically about the past year. Few things, not TV specifically, but like few things for like symbolism purposes, research kind of thing. But when I canceled YouTube TV, man, I heard about it. Yes, sir. That is the beast from the earth. And it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Once you understand really the blasphemy that comes out of this thing and the deception that you have seen from it, moon landing. Yep. I mean, 99.999% of people will tell you what happened on September 11th. The whole world saw it. But it's kind of funny. The people at Ground Zero that day have a different story. You think all those rocket attacks really happened? No. But you see them. Be wary of the great signs that this thing performs. And it has moved. Right? It has moved to now. It is one of these. We all have them on us at all times. You got to be very careful. Do not let these things dictate to you what you know, what you understand, what you perceive. Be very wary, very cautious. Satan's going to work. He's been working a long time, a lot longer than we've been around. That is the beast. Beast from the earth is the TV, the television. There you go. Told you. I'll show you what it was. You know what's funny? What was really interesting when I was looking into this, I'm like, I thought it was pretty easy to figure out, honestly. It didn't take me long. It really didn't. I read through the Bible, but I was like, that part in Revelation, I'm going to come back to that. Because that's, anytime it's talked about like beasts from the earth or beasts of the earth or anything like that, beasts of the earth, those are physical things that we can see. And then you realize how demonic our world is right now and what has deceived everybody over the past 100 years. There you go. And that is basically exactly what, I mean, how the TV looked for about 5 decades, from the 30s through the 80s. And then you get to 90s, cable comes in and changes it a little bit. Obviously, you get rid of the antenna. Analog kind of goes out. So, there you go. Beast of the Earth, TV. Let me show you this. So, this is the evolution, right, of the TVs, pretty much. You know, I mean, for like 5 decades. I mean, it looked pretty much the same. And then you had some receiver. Like, I know there's not receivers on all these, but there are some receivers somewhere that has to plug into the back so that they bring in the signal. And then the signal's kind of the signal's still the same, but it's more of a cable line that comes into the houses now. Obviously, you got the flat panels now, but for, roughly 5 decades, pretty much, it was the big boxes, and you have some rabbit ears somewhere bringing in the analog signal. So that's pretty much how it looked there for about 5 decades, and then it's adopted. It's evolved. It is no longer just the TV itself. It's the content. The thing I would say is it's not just about it's not so much the device itself. It's more of what is coming out of it, right? And that's the whole point of it. Performs great signs. That's something that is coming out of it, and it speaks like the devil. I mean, that's also coming out. That's what's coming out of it. And so you need to really understand it's not the device itself. It's not your smartphone. It's not your laptop, but it's the things that you allow to come through those devices. That is so important to understand. And this is Netflix. White man is always the villain. Black guy's always the hero. Gay guy's the voice of reason. Woman has the balls. Dad is an idiot. Mom is the breadwinner. Children are sexualized. Netflix is social engineering, not entertainment. And that I could say that for pretty much anything that revolves around modern entertainment. I mean, modern entertainment pretty much all goes roughly that way. And understand something, the demons that run the entertainment industry, they don't care if you believe what they believe or you wind up taking the beliefs that they have. That is not the main thing. The main thing is they want you to be distracted. They want you to not notice what they are doing. They want you to be asleep. And that is another thing that really is said in the New Testament. Do not fall asleep. Do not fall asleep. Satan's always working. The devil's always working. You know, what dominated society over the past 100 years? TV, television. Period. Period. So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you've learned the beasts of the earth,